Hi everyone, we will be doing another Leetcode problem which is valid parenthesis. So in this you are given a string s containing just the characters which are brackets. Determine if the input string is valid, and there are some conditions to do that. Open bracket must be closed by the same type of bracket. An open bracket must be closed in the correct order, and every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. So for example, the first one you have an open and close, and it's the same type that has open and close, and it's in the correct order. So this is true. Let's look at the next one. Again, you have opening and closing of the brackets by the correct one and in the same order. This is true. But for the last one, you do have an opening bracket and a closed bracket, but since they are of different type, the answer is false. So let's first look at the intuition of how to do this, and then we'll come back to coding this. Now, just to make things quicker, I've already made a dictionary, which is brack map, which basically has the dictionary for all the open and the closed brackets, all the combinations that we can have. And I've also made a list, which is open, which is only containing the open parameters. Now I'm going to loop through every element of the string. Say this is my string, for example. So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to loop from every element, and first I'm going to check whether this element is there in the open brackets. If it is there, then I'm going to have a temporary variable. Say for example, let's call it stack. If it is there in the open brackets, it's there in that list. So I'm going to just add it to the list. Now I'm going to move to the next element, and now I'm going to check if this is also there in the open list. It is there, so I'm going to add this to the stack. Now I'm going to move to the next element. Now is this part of the open? It is not. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check first that my stack is not empty, which is a true condition. It is not empty. And then I'm going to check if for this corresponding one, is it same as what I get for this? So basically, since my element is this, and if I check in my dictionary, this will give me output as this. And if it is true, then I'm going to pop the last element out of the stack. So I'm going to pop this out. Now I'm going to move the next element. Again, since this is not an open parenthesis, I'm going to check if this is the dictionary for this, which is true. So I'm going to pop this out. And in the end, I'm just going to check if my stack is empty. I'm going to return true. So in this case, I'm going to return true. Now let's look at another example just to make things a little bit more clear. Say for now, the list is this. How will things look? Okay. Again, I'm going to start from the first element. Now, since this is an open parenthesis, it's there in the open list. I'm going to add this element to stack. Now my pointer will go to the next element. This is also part of open list. So I'm going to add this to stack. Now it's going to the third element. This is also part of open. So this is also going to become part of stack. Now it's going to the next element. Now it will check whether the last element is part of the dictionary. That is correct. So I'm going to pop this out, and my pointer will go to the next element. Now it will check whether my last element is same as the dictionary what I've given brack map, which is not the case, right? So I'm going to return false. I hope this solution was easy to understand. Now let's code this solution. Just to make things quicker, I've already made the dictionary of bracket map, and also the open parentheses are there in the list, and I've created an empty intermediate stack list which will hold the intermediate options whenever they are part of the string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to um, do a for loop for every element of S. And as I mentioned, the first thing that I'm going to check is whether So the first thing I'm going to check is if the element is part of the um, open list. If it is there, then I'm going to append it to my intermediate stack. So if it's not there, I'm going to check if my stack first is not empty, and I will also check that the element is same for the dictionary. So it's the close bracket of the open bracket. If this is the case, if this is true, then I'm going to pop the last element of the list. If this is not true, that means my string is not correct and I need to return false. In the end, I'm just going to return if my stack is equal to empty. So then if this condition is true, it's going to return true, otherwise false. So let's run the code. So it has been accepted. Let's submit the code. If you see, this is a pretty decent solution. Thanks for watching.